G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for episode number 23 of our Lightning Caster Paladin playthrough, where at the end of last episode I told you I was going to come back to town, do a bunch of selling, all that fun stuff, and I did do that. I cleaned out my inventory and such, so you didn't have to watch that. Unfortunately, the allure of the giant glowing golden question mark above Inquisitor Creed's head was too strong, and I turned the quests in without even really thinking about it. You can see I've got a little more XP than I had last time. I've also picked up the quests here. And so all you've missed out on was getting some XP, and the purple item we got for killing the Logorian on Ultimate was Murmur's Kiss here. Now, obviously, Murmur's Kiss is not very good, but the other thing I did in between episodes is, that actually gave us Revered with the Black Legion. So we now have access to two of the strongest augments in the game. We have Kingsguard Powder available, which is Pierce and Poison and Acid. And we have Mankind's Vigil available, which is Aether and Chaos, which we could just plaster all over our gear, and then we wouldn't need the resistances from Word of Renewal to cap that out, which... yeah, I think I'm going to do that. So, Kingsguard, Mankind's Vigil, what do we need, like 3 or 4 of these? How about 5? We'll go with 5. So we can just basically stack those on everything now. The other thing is, we don't really have access to bleeding, so we do still need these pants, but with the augments starting to open up, what that does mean is that our gear selection gets a whole lot easier. I'm just going to chuck that on, get it out of my inventory. Also, I went back to normal, and I forget exactly why I went back to normal, but anyway, I went to go and see Black Legion. I think it was to go to the Coven for something, I forget what. Anyway, I picked up these augments from also the Black Legion, and these are both better than the ones I have at the moment on the weapon and the shield. So currently we are getting 25% damage and some offensive ability. Now the offensive ability is nice, but this is more offense ability, more damage, and also more health. And then this one here is more damage, some, I mean, I'm not going to call them free resistances, but some elemental resistances. And if I have them on both the weapon and the shield, this is 8% less damage from ethereals and aether corruptions, and we're about to go, well, not straight away, but we will be heading into the city of Malmouth here in an episode or two, and taking less damage from ethereals is something I want to do. However, for now, I'm just going to chuck these ones on. It's a bunch of extra health, damage, more offensive ability, apparently some energy regen, which I don't remember reading, but anyway, apparently it was there. And we're going to stash these and then probably forget that they exist. But the plan at the moment is that I will use these when I head into the city of Malmouth. Now, with regards to that, before we go ahead and start Ashes, there is one more thing I want to do, and I think it was on a different character, but I'll just double check. Yeah, it was. The thing I want to do is, actually, I think I may have already done it. Let me just check this. I'm thinking about doing the Hidden Path and the Temple of the Three, but yeah, it looks like I've already done it, actually. So we may as well just head into Ashes content. Let me double check that I have, in fact, been into Eastmarsh. And I'll be able to see if I've been into the temple from here as well. Yes, I have indeed done the temple already. Okay. So we have done that already, which means all we have left to do is Ashes of Malmouth, and then go and poke our heads into Forgotten Gods. Now, Ashes of Malmouth has, in my opinion, the best farming area for a fresh level 100. And I mean literally the best. Like if you're trying to farm gear and you're a fresh level 100, do this area over and over and over and over and over and do nothing else except for Warden Kriegs laboratory for the aether crystals you're going to need. So you take the aether crystals and you turn them into... you'll have to turn them into dynamite. But aside from Warden Krieg's lab to get aether crystals to turn into dynamite, you just do this area over and over until you get bored, and then you go do something else. And the something else will be not quite as good for gear, but, you know, everyone needs a break from running the same areas over and over, except for those Diablo 2 nutcases who can run Mephisto 1,000 times a day and somehow not get bored. I think that would probably ruin my will to live. Though having said that, I've probably done something like 1,000 runs of this place. The Gloomwald here is the place that I'm talking about. So from this rift, basically through this area, more or less doing what I'm about to do, to the next rift, and then reset your instance, or reset your back to the main menu, and do it again. Beasts do not yet hate us enough to be nemesis, so we don't have to worry about that yet. We got plenty of dynamite as well. So coming through this little section, there's multiple spawn locations for Chupacabra once you have nemesis with the beasts. There's also potentially a treasure trove right here. And these plants are also quite good for potentially dropping the rings, or at least they used to be before patch 1.2. After patch 1.2, honestly, I wouldn't bother. If you need rings, go kill Silvaria, I think it is, in the undergrowth, and she will drop the rings for you. Now, ordinarily, I would say come in here and get Nane's stash. I'm going to leave this one for this character, because at least for the moment, the plan is to do a Lokar walkthrough with this character, and I will need it then. So I'm going to leave it undisturbed for the moment, and I'm going to miss out on my one guaranteed blue item that's probably no good for the build. Have been playing the Purifier in between, so I have to turn that setting back. Alright. So this is part of the farming run that I was talking about. You come down here, there is a kind of semi-dangerous boss in here, which is Avarice. Potential totem right here as well. There's level 80, and Revered with Homestead again, which is nice enough, I guess. Alright, we were pumping points into the Storm Box at this point. I'm just going to double check. I kind of do want to get more points in Steel Resolve. But I think we'll max out the Storm Box first, and then we'll have a look at Steel Resolve. So up here, we could have a treasure trove just here. I think it's actually right there. So that it could be there. It's not, so I now know exactly where it is, because there is a treasure trove in this area every single time, and it only has 2 spawn points. Before we get to that though, this platform just up here, you can see this cannibal here, does spawn, I think the Wraith Speakers is the one I'm about to mention actually, does spawn healing monsters, and also spawns Avarice Marrowill, and Avarice does a lot of vitality damage. Doesn't appear to be here today, but if you come through here, keep your eye open for Avarice. She spawns kind of here-ish, and if you happen to have a bunch of like yellow named cultist members, or I forget what they're called, these humanoid people. If you happen to have a healer, you can beat on her all day and she will never die. She's got enough health that she's incredibly difficult to kill before she gets healed. You definitely can do it, but it's much easier to kill her friends first. Alright, Trollheart Waistguard. Lightning converted to Vitality, no thank you. I will eat the recipe though. So this is the other location. It's either right here, directly under the untouched meal, or it's over here, and it'll always be in one of those two spots. And then you run around here. There is a nice little secret area here. You break that, you run around the back, and just in here is some hidden remains. And I'm pretty sure that's the only thing in there. I swear there was one little secret area I found one time that had a secret area hidden inside of the secret area, but I have no idea which one it would be. So we come out here, and then we just head up here. There'll be a devotion shrine, if you still need it for some reason. It's there. You shouldn't need it, but, you know, maybe you do. This area is really good for getting your hands on Ugdenblooms. So these big trees have a decent chance to drop them. You can see I'm already starting to collect them. There is also a rotting stump here. And okay, so this build, we're probably not going to be making any conduits. If you are playing a build that needs conduits though, and if you don't know what a conduit is, your build probably doesn't need one. They are crafted amulets that provide +1 skills to each of the masteries, and then they have a range of kind of special conversions, shall we say. So if you wanted to, you could use a conduit on a Death Knight to turn your cadence into an Aether style. You could use a conduit on a Necromancer to make your skeletons do fire damage without taking up your main hand. You could use a conduit on your... What else do I remember? Arcanist. So you can convert your Albrecht's Aether Ray to cold damage. There's a bunch of those kind of conversions on amulets that have decent stats for the classes. And you get the recipes for those in Forgotten Gods. But the reason I kind of went on this little, not really a rant, but this little spiel, we'll call it, is that those conduits require a silly, absolutely silly amount of Ugdenblooms. I think when I was crafting the conduit for my Aether dual-wielding Death Knight, I ended up spending something like 140 of them before I got just any Aether converted cadence conduit. Never mind a good one, never mind good stats. None of that, just any Aether converted one. So if you decide that you want to get, for example, a really good roll on it, or maybe there's, you know, 2 potential rolls that you need to get, or you want to get, then you're going to need tons of these. Before we head over there and rescue Old Love's dad, this can be one of the most dangerous areas in the entire Gloomwald, because as you can see, there's a ton of Wendigos. The Wendigos can do a silly amount of damage, and it didn't happen this time, probably because I'm only level 80, but you can have, I want to say 3 or 4 hero Wendigos here. There's a quest Wendigo that also spawns here, and you can also have human cannibal heroes as well. So this place can get very, very rippy quite easily. Just here is the final location outside where you can find treasure troves. So as you come down from the Rift Gate, which is here, treasure trove number 1 is here. And you go through the basement over here. Treasure trove number 2 is just next to this restored shrine. And number 3 is just here where I am. And those are the only 3 locations. They will be there every single game. So that's part of what makes this area really good to farm for a fresh level 100. The other part is you are guaranteed 2 totems as well. And one of them is an ancient Aether Wart. So there's a savage one, could be here, could be here, and could be one more spot up here. I've already got this one here, but I'll show you the other one. for anyone who hasn't seen this little spiel about this area a million times by now. I'm sure there's going to be someone. Alright. What are we up to? Five only. Okay. Definitely need more of those. There's another one. Okay. Just over here, if you've got the quest, this is where Nain's stash is. I'm leaving it for now, as I mentioned, for reasons that will become apparent in later videos. Assuming I live long enough to get there. Let's just pop a rift here. And I'm going to run up here and get the next rift gate, and then I'll come back, because there's two more things I want to show you. So, Gloomwald Crossing Rift, rather. Back to my personal stash. This trapdoor, let's go in here first. So if you didn't find Avarice in the first little dungeon, the first little cellar, she's going to be in here. As far as I'm aware, she only has 2 potential spawn locations, one of which is in this cellar, so she'll be kind of over here-ish, and one of which is in the other cellar. So let's just go get her. And we should also find an ancient Aether-warped totem in here. Having said that, I'm not seeing it on the map yet, so maybe not. Alright. So, as I mentioned before, you definitely want to kill off her friends first. And if you can, you want to not be in her face. And, where is it? Where is it? This here, Eruption of Anguish. She's summoning wraiths that are shredding your resistances. So, another thing to keep an eye on is that, see this guy here, Bloodsinger? Pretty sure he's a healer. So he's got to go. Alright, here we go. So she's got her 3 wraiths up again. Down she goes. Now, as long as you kill her friends first, she's not that big of a deal. It's when you just tunnel vision on her and try and kill her without taking care of all the rubbish she summons. That's when you're going to have issues. Alright, now, once again, we are looking for Ugdenbog, what are they called? Waste Guards. Now, they're going to drop from the Ghost Crabs, and I'm going to be getting an upgrade from the Ghost Crab boss, because even though regular Ghost Crabs can drop them, 1.2 just neutered non-hero drop MIs. And this is the other location where you could find another totem. Obviously, I'm not going to find one here. There's only 3 locations it could be. And I've already had mine. So yeah, that is... oh, hello. That is the Gloomwald. And generally when I'm running this, I run it forwards, starting from the Gloomwald Rift and run that way. It is actually quicker if you start here, head here, check this one, and then run down. But for whatever reason, I hate spinning the camera, and so I prefer to do the less efficient run that doesn't require me to spin the camera and memorize the map upside down. If that's something that doesn't bother you, you will be better served running it in reverse, because you don't have to run as far. Okay, I think we can kill a bunch of these. That's probably enough. Crab's just here, and along this top here, you're going to find a bunch more rotting stumps. If these are highlighted in red, it means it's a trap, and you're getting nothing. It'll spawn one of the big tree golem things, and you'll have to fight them. They can drop Ugdenblooms, but it's kind of unlikely. I've just gone the wrong way. So from there, you come down across this little bridge here. You can come under this bridge into a little hidden area where there is another rotting stump. There's usually a trap in here as well, so expect to find the tree golems climbing out of the ground in here. and you do get this.
My inventory is full.
Well, that's unfortunate. Are we actually full? I don't know if I can Jenga this one, you guys. Let's just go back to town and sell it. Maybe I need to stop picking up quite so many things. How are we for bits? Almost 3 million bits, so yeah, I think we can probably calm down a little bit on the greens. Okay, I definitely don't want any of this stuff, so that's fine. That can all go. We're pretty much running on MIs here, so we will be fine. I say we're pretty much running on MIs. Half our items are not MIs. Okay, we'll just duck in here, and we will vendor, or stash rather, all this stuff. No, absolutely not, never. There we go, okay. The other thing you can do, when you get to the point where you have millions of bits, what you can do is you can start turning stuff off. So like two-handed ranged, they're usually 4 squares. These are 3 squares. Shields, they can go. And you can just start turning things off, or you can just turn off rares altogether and only look at monster infrequents. That's also an option. But you can go in there. O is the hotkey for your... Here it is, your loot filter. So you can just go in there and turn things off. I think I just need to not pick quite so much stuff up. Although having said that, we're almost to Coven. So it would have been fine anyway. From there, you can come across here and then head south around the corner here. And there's another one. So here's our trap. Tree golem, and then you continue directly across. This guy hopefully will drop the quest item I need. He has indeed, Leaf Mane Alpha Horn. You come over here and you get this little sunny area, and this is the last rotting stump. So if you're interested in farming Ugdenblooms, that's kind of the route I take to get it. Come in here, run across there, 1, 2, down here, 3, 4, and then 5. It's the best way I've found to farm them. The other thing you can do is you can find the bosses that drop them and just go farm them. Alright, let's go get Carax's Fel. And he lives out the back here. See, this is a trap. Not so bad today. Usually you get a bunch of the tree golems coming out of the ground just behind you. Here we go. It's a better trap. Still not particularly threatening, but it's better. Alright, the Den of Caraxus has a bunch of crabs in it, a bunch of tree golems, and that's about it really. It's kind of a figure 8 shaped area. So you can do a big loop and fight things on the way in and fight different things on the way out. Get a decent amount of stuff. If you're playing a soldier, you want to come in here because this boss, Caraxus, who's up here, this is your boss that's going to drop you your soldier belt, your +1 to soldier skills belt. So you're going to want to kill him for that. You'll notice when I do kill this guy that he will drop me a +1 to soldier skills belt. There it is. Didn't even look yet. Yep, here we go. Aggressive of attack. So +1 to all skills in soldier. He will drop one every single time you kill him. He's also relatively close to a rift gate. And if you happen to be farming Ugdenblooms at the same time, that's a good way to do it. You can get a treasure trove just over here. And let's go ahead and get out of here. There is sometimes some ghost crabs here, but not really that many. There you go. So I think this spike shell can drop me a nice belt, but it's pretty unlikely. there's not enough of them in here, and it's just easier to wait until you get to the other side of Barrowholm, and then you will be able to farm the Naxxon Shade in the mine, and he will drop you one every single time. So I will probably end up doing that. The belt we're wearing is a casual 40 levels out of date, so definitely need to get an update on that. Alright, got a couple Wendigo charms. These Wendigos just have so many drops, so many MIs. Excuse me? Put me in a cage, how rude. So we're coming up on the Coven just here. You can see the shops and such starting to appear. Do be careful when you're checking your gear in the Coven, because if you happen to walk past one of these wards, it's not going to do it because I haven't done the quest to restore them, but they actually put a buff on you that gives you bonus resistances. So if you happen to be in here and you're doing, you know, remake my build sort of thing, we have a deal. Yes, absolutely. And you have to be redoing your build. You just have to make sure you don't have that on you. So you think you have maxed out, I think it's Aether resistance, and then you run off and die to Aether damage because actually you don't.
Put it to good use.
Right, what else we got? So we got a mission to find Barrowholm. I think we just head straight out. I'm pretty sure I already went and got all of the lore notes for this area. Let's just go click on this. Yep, already got them. There will be a stash over here though. And if you rescued the witch in the Bloodgrove, she would be here. She would have some reputation for you. And yep, here we go. Hidden spoils. There we go. And we may as well click on this since we're here. Yep, no lore note because I've already grabbed them. Okay, we will find your missing sisters. Absolutely, I promise. I promise I won't walk past them again. Right, so heading out into the Ugdenbog, I do want to kill off a lot of these Venom Gaze basilisks. Never mind, I'm done. You have to kill a few of them, and you want to kill the yellow ones because they will drop the Venom Gaze Vial, I think it is. Is it Vial? Yeah. Yeah, you want to get that. As it is a quest item. There's a few kind of locations of interest out here. Unfortunately, all of them, pretty much all of them, are for things that are not unlocked yet, so I'm just gonna skip most of them. However, if you see this little footprint-shaped tree, this one right here, directly out of there, it also has a rotting stump just to the south of it, and there's my free Ugdenbog. So coming over this way, I see Laria's, or sorry, Janaxia's den here. We're gonna go pay her a beating. There we go. And I'm gonna do something weird on this run. I'm going to, no, actually I'll talk about that when I get to it. Janaxia's den has a lot of these wraiths. It also has Wendigos and a totem. So it can be a decent place to farm. If you happen to need an MI that drops from wraiths or from Wendigos, you can get them here. There is probably better places to get them. If you need a Wendigo MI, there's definitely better places to get them. But for the Wraith MIs, this is a good spot. Unless you make a certain quest decision that I'm going to make on this character. Alright, what do we got? Blue. We'll take the blues. Wendigo Eye, why not? Alright, that'll do. Nice little bit of hidden loot. Where is it? Just there. So we have a nice little chest in here. And a lot of these things, you can find a lot of these secrets just by having your camera turned the right way. Like, you would see this no problem if you happen to have your camera tilted on an angle. Most people don't do that, though. Give me that sword. I swear I clicked on that thing like 4 times. Okay, it is boss time. So, Janaxia the Betrayer should be no issue. I am definitely noticing that my health bar is moving, which I don't appreciate, but I think we've got her under control. There we go. Pick up her items, get out of the bleeding pool, which, because of Inquisitor Seal, doesn't really do much to us. Okay, that was one of the quests for the Coven, and we have now done it, even though we don't actually have the quest. I'm just going to go through, do all the quests, and turn them in one big go. That's a lot of Wendigos. Sorry, that was a lot of Wendigos. This build definitely does a lot of AoE damage. Alright, so we're heading north. We're killing my good friend Ignafius the Mageblood. Hopefully don't have to worry about being having my buffs stripped, which I think we killed her in time. There's nothing else in this area until later, so I'm just going to run north and get to the next rift gate. Here is my rotting stump. There's a few rotting stumps in this area as well, which are definitely worth clicking on if you know you're going to need Ugdenblooms. Ugdenblooms are not just good for conduits, they're also quite good for components as well. You need a lot of them for things like, is it Ugdenbog leather, I think it is, needs a ton of them. And there's a few other ones as well. We're not going to do Craval. I'm relatively confident I could, but it's kind of not much point. It's definitely still getting more XP, which is nice. There's no real advantage to fighting him, and there's a very good chance that I would die. Or maybe not very good, but there is a chance that I would die, so I'm gonna leave him alone. You definitely can fight him if you want though, but generally speaking, unless I need his MI for something, I'm not going to bother. Alright, is this my witches over here? I don't think it is actually. Maybe. They're up here. No, they're after the... never mind. I'm way ahead of myself. The witches themselves are considerably after this. They're right before Barrowholm. We're not even halfway there yet. That's a ghost crab. New belt? New belt? Dawnbreak, Relic Scourge. Let's get out of the poison so we don't die. Bound Wraith is one of the MIs that's actually gotten very difficult to get your hands on since 1.2. Yeah, I think we'll just leave the rest of this on the floor. Just pick up blues for a little bit. Okay, I think I know where I am now. Yeah, there's my rift gate. Okay, perfect. So we've grabbed that. Now, this little section actually has a decent amount of stuff going on. We have the witches to rescue. We have 1,000,001 poisonous blooms and carnivorous plants and all this other rubbish. And we don't actually need to fight those. We have both a marked dungeon in this area in the form of the Wraith, whose name I can't remember. There's also Laria's Den, who we can skip for now. That'll be a later quest we can come back for. There's also the Undergrowth, which is not marked on your map. Can be just here. So if you go to Laria's Den, could be just here. But as I say, that one won't be marked on your map. And the way I've found to find it is basically you just hug the right side of the map. And if you get to... what is that? Ugdal? Ugdal, is it? I think it's Ugdal. The Wraith. You'll find an area marked on your map, like a cave marked on your map. And that's going to be Ugdal. So if you get to Ugdal's cave, then there's only one more place it could be, so you just go there. But otherwise, you just hug the right side here. I'll probably find it along here. It's pretty rare that it's in the last spot, from what I've seen. Although, having said that, it's probably pretty much even odds. Getting a decent few hits with the chain lightning from that ring. This one here. Glyph of the Storm Witch. Definitely getting a few hits. Alright, so here is... I'm pretty sure it's Ugdal. But, whatever his name is, we're gonna go say hi to him. Now, you can free Ugdal, or you can kill him. If you're gonna free him, you need a Wendigo Spirit, which I do have, which is nice. And he will give you an Ethereal Missive, and I think you get Coven Reputation for freeing him as well. So if you need Coven Rep, definitely free him. However, I may or may not be getting ready for the freeing. We're not freeing him this time. Ugdal unfortunately needs to go. Are you trapped here? Goodbye, Ugdal. Alright, so Ugdal will always drop you a Wraith MI, and if you are looking for a bound Wraith, for example, just, you know, nobody I know, but maybe you happen to have a Ritualist who's a pet Ritualist, and you really want a decent bound Wraith, this is the only boss in the game that will drop one when you kill him. I have not yet tested if he's going to be there when I come back. I've almost certainly killed him once on a couple of characters, but I've never deliberately set out to farm him until this character, so we will see. We will see if he's going to be there. Because I do need a bound Wraith for my Goals Ritualist. Currently using a triple rare Bloodsworn Codex, but I want the MI bonuses from the bound Wraith. Unfortunately, they are an absolute pain to get to drop. They were borderline torture before 1.2, and after 1.2 they just don't drop at all. I've cleared this swamp out dozens of times trying to get the Wendigo eyes for my Kabbalist, which I did eventually get. I got a really nice one. But I've cleared these swamps out dozens of times, and I think I've got maybe a handful of bound Wraiths while I was doing it. They just don't drop. So hopefully he'll be there and I can farm him. Okay, if you get to the Barrowholm Rift and you have not found the entrance to the Undergrowth, it is directly south here. There'll be a couple of trees down here. One of them will have the cave entrance. I think it's going to be this one. Yep, there he is. So here's our cave entrance. We're going to go in, we're going to ignore everything, and run to the end. Probably get caught on a bunch of these irritating tree root whippy thingies. That's their official name now. This one here is the bane of my existence, because sometimes you can just kind of slip right through there. And 90% of the time, you get stuck on it, but the game thinks you can walk through there, so you will just walk at the tree forever, trying to walk through a gap that you can't get through. And it's incredibly annoying. Alright, now I said we were going to ignore these, but this is a lot of potential Ugdenblooms. So I'll kill this group, and this guy in particular. No reason why for this guy, I just feel like it. There he goes. And we'll be on our way. Now once you get to the end, we do have a boss to fight. Bunch of stuff here as well, and I think there's a... Nope, I am incorrect. There is no little stash there. Alright, that'll do. So, this is Silvaria, Queen of the Undergrowth, and Silvaria has the honor of being one of the bosses, or one of the only bosses that will drop... Sundered, that's not good. Will drop the living rings. Or the vine rings. Vine rings are the ones I want, actually. If you want to farm those, you want to come in here. And you want to kill Silvaria. She dies relatively easily. You can also farm these back in normal, because this area scales all the way to 100 in normal, which kind of, I don't know, seems like cheating to me, but it's a thing you can do. You can go back to normal difficulty and farm some of these more, we'll call them more dangerous areas. You can farm them in complete safety back in normal difficulty, and then come back to ultimate with your fancy gear. As I said though, that does kind of feel like cheating to me, so I'm not going to be doing it. Do I want this? That is a lot of elemental and vitality, but I think the impervious of squalls is better, so I'm going to sell that. Not doing fire damage. Still... actually... no. Okay. And once again, this seems like a good place to end the episode. So I am going to end the episode here. So thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And goodbye for now.